Hare Krishna. Very, very, very good morning to all of you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. A very warm welcome to all of you. International Society for Krishna Consciousness is on. Welcomes all of you for this most interesting Srimad Bhagavad Gita, 18th chapter, 18 days, 18 sessions, 8th chapter, 8th day, 8th session. Srimad, please accept the blessings of Sri Radha Giridhariji and mercy of Srila Prabhupada. It is said that when the people of this world select us, elect us in parliament, we get a place. And when Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, select us in spiritual discourses, we get a place. That's why those who love Krishna, they can never say no to spiritual discourses. Those who love Srila Prabhupada, they can never say no to the spiritual discourses. Srimad Bhagavad Gita means beautiful song of God. Krishna speaking from his heart. Srimad means beautiful, Bhagavad means God, and Gita means song. Beautiful song of God from the heart of the Lord. Srimad Bhagavad Gita is full of auspiciousness. Srimad Bhagavad Gita is full of divinity. Srimad Bhagavad Gita is full of spirituality. Srimad Bhagavad Gita is full of devotion. Srimad Bhagavad Gita is very, very valuable. Srimad Bhagavad Gita is uh, full of full of valuable uh, lessons for us. Srimad Bhagavad Gita is very important for us. So let us start the eighth chapter of Bhagavad Gita. It is entitled Taraka Brahma Yoga, attaining the Supreme. For better understanding and easy assimilation of the subject matter, we will go to the introduction, where we will see that in the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna says that he is Pandava. Krishna says, wait a minute, come to the second chapter, and he says, you are not Pandava, you are. So in the first chapter, Arjuna says, Kauravas are my enemy. But Krishna says, wait a minute, come to the third chapter, and he says, lust, anger, greed is our enemy. In the first chapter, Krishna says, Arjuna says that mm, Pandavas are my allies, my friends, but Krishna says, no, in the fourth and the fifth chapter, that Guru is our real friend, um, and Krishna is our real Suhridha friend. And knowing, and in the first chapter, Arjuna was trying not to fight because he did not understand the plan of the Lord. So he had a different plan. In the sixth chapter, Krishna says, Arjuna said that now that you have understood your soul, and lust is our enemy, and spiritual master and Krishna is our friend, then we have to understand the plan of the Lord and focus, uh, have be focused in our executing the plan of the Lord. So that was sixth chapter. In the seventh chapter, we saw the art of living, and now we'll see in the eighth chapter the art of dying. In this world, whether one is a devotee or a non-devotee, everybody has to die. Death for a devotee, non-devotee is painful, but death for a devotee is very blissful. Srila Prabhupada says that a mice in the mouth of a cat is very, very horrible, painful, and but for a kitten, the teeth of the cat is very playful, blissful, and joyful, simply wonderful. So death for non-devotees is painful, whereas for death for devotees is blissful. For better understanding and easy assimilation, the subject matter, thus eighth chapter session will be taken in the following manner. In phase one, we see Lord Krishna answers Arjuna's eight questions, and in the phase two, devotee, devotee, uh, how does his death is blissful is mentioned in uh, phase two, and in phase three, uh, how a devotee practices remembering Krishna is mentioned, and a pure devotee he also remembers Krishna again mentioned in phase four, and a non-devotee, a jnani, and a karmi, tyagi, how they remember Krishna is mentioned in phase 5. And in phase 6, we'll see uh, how bhakti, eh, pure bhakti helps us attaining Krishna, and it is simply wonderful. So, with this, we come to conclusion and question answers. So, the eighth chapter of Bhagavad Gita is called Tarka Jnana Yoga. It's really amazing, Tarka Brahma Yoga, and it's really amazing, wonderful, and out of the world. Without um, uh, without without delaying any further, let us dive right away into the eighth chapter of Bhagavad Gita. And Arjuna asked eight questions because the chapter is eight, and the questions asked is also eight in number. And the main question is how, at the time of death, a devotee can uh, be blissful. That will be the main subject matter for the in this chapter in this session. And in two slokas, Arjuna asks questions, eight questions, and Krishna will answer the mm, uh, seven questions in two texts, and fifth text onwards, he will talk about death, death of a devotee, and death of a non-devotee, death of a karmi, death of a tyagi, death of a tyagi, and how death of a devotee is blissful and it's out of the world, amazing and simply wonderful. Shri Arjuna Vacha. Arjun means one who is simple. Arjun means simple means one who walks it talks. He does what he say and he say what he does. That is Arjuna. Arjuna Vacha Kim Tad Brahma Kim Adhyatma Kim Karma Purushottama आदिभूतं च किं प्रोक्तम् आदिदेवं किम् उच्यते. O my Lord, O Supreme Person, what is Brahman? That is the uh, what is self? What are fruity activities? And what is the material manifestations? What are the demigods? These are the five questions in text one, and three more questions in text two. आदियज्ञ कथं को अत्र देहास्मिन् मधुसूदना प्रायान् काले च कथं ज्ञेयोऽसि नियत आत्मभिः. So, seven questions, they actually lead to the eighth and the most important question, that is, at the time of death, how devotee remembers. Who is the Lord of sacrifice? And how does he live in the body of Madhusudana? How can those who engage in devotional service know you at the time of death? This is the most important question. And this is what uh, uh, Krishna will focus on. So the chapter is eighth, and the questions asked is also eight in number. In text uh, one, five questions are asked, and in text two, three questions are asked, and Krishna will start answering. And again, Vyasamuni addresses Krishna as Sri Bhagavan Vacha, Sri means beautiful. Bhagavan means most important person. Vacha means says. So the most important person uh, who is beautiful and important is speaking something which is beautiful and important for us. That means Vyasmuni says we should pay utmost importance and we should be totally concentrated and alert to catch every sentence, every word, every letter. We should be laser focused, one pointed, laser focused to catch the best. Aksharam Brahma Paramam Swabhava Adhyatma Uchyate Bhuta Bhava Udbhava Karo Visarga Karma Sanjanita. The Supreme Person of Godhead said, Aksharam, that is the indestructible, transcendental living entity, that is soul, is called Brahma. His eternal nature, that is, the soul is eternal, blissful, that is Adhyatma. This is a Sanskrit word not to get bewildered. His eternal nature is Adhyatma, the self. Action pertaining to the development of material bodies, the whatever action we are doing, is called karma or fruity activities. In this way, he answers three questions in this text and four more in next. Adibhutam Sharo Bhava Purisha Cha Adi Daivatam Adiyagyo Aham Evatra Dehe Deha Britam Vara. O best of embodied beings, the physical nature which is constantly changing, that is the material manifestation, the material world is called Adibhuta. The universal form of the Lord, which includes all the demigods like sun and the moon, is called Adi Deva. And Krishna, the supreme person of Godhead, is the super soul in the heart of every living entity, is called Adi Yagya. So in this way, seven questions are answered, and the most important question is what? How does a um, devotee of the Lord, at the end of lifetime remembers Krishna? So this is the most important question, and it Krishna gives lots and maximum importance. How does how can those engaged in devotional service know you at the time of Krishna? So Krishna is going to answer that because life is preparation and death is examination. Antakale cha mamevam smaran muktva kalevaram yaprayati samadbhavam yati nasti atra samsaya. Antakale cha mamevam. At the end of our life, that is at the time of the last breath, devotee remembers Krishna. Smaranam Muktva Kalivam, at the time of leaving the body, remembering Krishna. In this practice, Yaprayatisha Madhvavam, in this practice of remembering Krishna, Yatina Asti Atra Samsaya, when he leaves this body, he, without doubt, attains Krishna's abode. About that, there is no doubt. Whoever at the end of the life cutes his body, remembering me alone at once attain my nature, of this there is no doubt, atra samsaya. Because of the devotee of the Lord, the whole life he remembers Krishna, and at the time of death, remembering Krishna becomes very easy. As we say, life is preparation and death is examination. So we see, uh, we see how how we see that a student studies the whole term. whole uh, a whole year, and when the exam paper comes, for him it's very simple. But when we find a student who is not preparing for the examination at the end of the life, at the end of the during the examination, for him it is very painful, and he is not able to write the examination properly. I remember when I was in college, I used to prepare for my examination, and when examination paper used to come, I used to write. But I found one of my classmates. He is he's a he is a rich man's son, and he used to have watch movies throughout the year and did not ever prepare for the examination. Uh, every day watching movies. So uh, when the exam paper came, he wrote movie songs and came back, because we write during examination we will remember only those things which we prepare. So uh, for a student who is always prepared, making preparation, examination is a cakewalk. And for a student who is not preparing for the exam, then examination is very painful. Yeah. The examination of life and examination of our college, uh, there is a little difference. The difference is, in college, uh, we know the date of the examination, time of the examination, and the place of examination is known. Whereas in the examination of life, the time of examination is not known. Where the examination will be taken is not known. You know, and the day of the examination is also not known. Nobody knows when one is going to die. Anytime, any place one can die. But in material examination, what happens? We know the day, date, and time. The syllabus is known, but we don't know the questions. Whereas in the examination of life, we know we know the syllabus and we know the question paper also. The syllabus is Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And the question paper is, at the end of the life, are we remembering Krishna? So this is what it is. So uh, this is what it is. So so a devotee of the Lord, he throughout his life is practicing Krishna consciousness. By doing that, for him, at the time of death, it is easy to remember Krishna. So, uh, in the history of universe, only one person knew his time of death. That is Parikshit Maharaj. He knew when was his seventh day. uh, Apart from Parikshit, nobody else knows when is the seventh day. Whether it is Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. Everybody has got 7 days, but we don't know when is our seventh day. Only Parikshit Maharaj in the history of creation knew his seventh day. And Parikshit Maharaj was so well prepared for 7 days and 7 nights. He was preparing, hearing uh, Krishna's pastime from his spiritual master Sukdev Goswami Maharaj. If Parikshit Maharaj, who knows his seventh day, date of his examination, is preparing so much, then it means that all of us who uh, who all of us whom we don't know when is our seventh day, so we should be more careful and we should be more prepared than Parikshit Maharaj. So death definitely comes, but for a devotee, because he is prepared for death at any time, any place, he it is blissful. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam taje ante kale तं तं एवैति कौन्तेय सदा तद्भाव भाविता. Whatever state of being one remembers, when he quits his body, O son of Kunti, at that state he will attain. For example, a non-devotee at the end of lifetime, he may be thinking about his wife, then he gets a female body, or a lady is thinking about his husband, then he will get, she will get a male body. Or if somebody is thinking about the, like Bharat Maharaj was thinking about the deer, so he gets a deer body. And somebody thinking about a dog or cat, then they get the body of dog or cat. If somebody is a soldier and is fighting, I will kill the Pakistanis, so he'll get a Pakistani body. If he says, I will kill the Indians, the Hindus, so he becomes a Indian. If somebody says that I will kill the Americans, so he becomes an American. If the American says, I will kill the Russians, then he gets a Russian body. So it's very important at the end of the life, what we remember. Once a man, he was listening to Ajamil's pastime, and he was very much impressed that Ajamil, at the end of his lifetime, he called his son's name Narayana. Ajamil was a very lusty person. He married, he gave up his wife and married a prostitute. And with this prostitute, he had 9 children, and the 10th child was the youngest one. Somehow he named him as Narayan. So he was so small. Somehow Jamil was very affectionate to him, and he used to call him Narayan, come here, Narayan, eat food, Narayan, drink water, Narayan, sleep, Narayan, get up, Narayan, play, Narayan, walk, Narayan, talk, Narayan, come. So everything Narayan, Narayan, Narayan. At the end of the time, uh, because he had committed so much sin, three Dutas came to catch him. So seeing them, he, he, seeing their fearful faces, he got scared and he called Na Ra Ya Na. The cry was so pure, without any offenses, that it tore the uh, 7 layers of the universe. And in Vaikuntha, Narayan heard and he sent 4 of his representative, Vishnu Dutta, Narayan Dutta, Na, Ra, Ya, Na. So 4 syllables, 4 Vishnu Duttas, and they came and they stopped the Yamdutas, and there was a conversation between. So hearing this wonderful, and Jamil was saved, and he goes to Haridwar, and he did not look back. Felt that he is saved, and he started practicing Krishna consciousness in Haridwar. And after 15 years, he come back to Buddha. Hearing this pastime, a very cunning um, uh, rich man, he saw that wow, Ajamil enjoyed his life with prostitute, and he named his son as Narayan. So he said that let me also let me also enjoy life, and name my children uh, God's name. So his children's name were Tom, Dick, Harry, and Peter. So he's changed their name. Aniruddha, Pradyumna, Vasudev, and Sankarshan. In this way, he gave them God's name. And at the time of death, he was a shopkeeper, and he called Aniruddha, Sankarshana, Vasudeva, Aniruddha, Sankarshana, Vasudeva, and Damodara. Uh, so all 4 of them, they came to near him. What happened, father? What happened, father? When all the 4 were near him, he saw in that shop, grocery shop, a donkey was coming and eating all that. He said, Anirudh, Pradyumna, Sankarshan, Vasudev, you fools, you are here. Look at the donkeys. This donkey is eating our food. Look at the donkey. And as soon as he said donkey, he said donkey, the soul left the body, and immediately Yamdudas got him. So he was trying to having cheat God by having a good time whole life, and try to call Krishna's name at the end. But this does not happen. This does not happen. At the end, he had the last word which came was, "Look at the donkey," and he was taken away by the Yamdudas. So we should prepare genuinely. Once there was another rich man, and his sons were feeling sorry for their father. Now that he is going to die, uh, let him remember the name of God. Baba, Bola, Father, take name of Shiva. Is Shiva's another name is Bola. Baba, Bola, Baba, Bola, Baba, Bola. The father was very tired and he was not able to speak anything, and he was very weak. But they were saying, say God, God or God's devotee's name, Baba Bola, Baba Bola, Baba Bola. And then he opened his mouth, because he was the whole life, he was just drinking Pepsi Cola and Coca Cola. And Baba opened his mouth and he says, Baba Bola. And he opened his mouth and they were saying, wow, he's going to say something. And Baba Bola, Coca Cola. And he died. So whatever we do the whole lifetime, actually that comes at the time of death in as a trailer. So if we remember Krishna the whole lifetime, if we practice Krishna consciousness seriously the whole lifetime, at the end of our life, we will remember, will remember, will remember Krishna, and our life will be successful. And if we try to cheat, uh, then at the end of the lifetime, we will remember whatever. If we remember about sugar, then eating sweets will get a body of ant and take birth in a sugar bottle or sugar factory. So that's why Arjuna, always, whatever you're doing, whatever your wherever you are, whatever you are doing, whatever is the time, whenever, wherever, and whatever is the situation, time, and place, we can remember Krishna in the mind. Tashmat sarveshu kaleshu mam anushmaram yuddhacha mai adhita manopatir mam evasyasi asamsaya. So this is the instruction. It says that even while fighting, you can think about me, and your fighting becomes Krishna consciousness. And if you die while fighting, you will uh, get the spiritual world. And while fighting, if you kill, even Bhishma and Dronacharya will get higher Bhishma spiritual destination. Therefore, always remember about me. Tashmat Sarveshu Kaleshu Mam Nusmarami Dascha Mai Arta Manobuddhir Mam, my Arpita Manodar Mam Evasasi Asamsaya. Same thing in the fifth sloka also it says Mam Evasasi Asam Saya. Antakale cha Mam Evan Smaran Mutva Kalevaran Ya Prayati cha Madbhavam Yati Nasti Atra Samsaya. Man Manabha Mad Bhakto Mam Evasasi. So So whatever we are doing, whether we are working in computer, whether we are walking, or we can in the mind always think about Krishna. While eating, we can think about Krishna. While sleeping, we can think about Krishna. While working in computer, we can think about Krishna. So the mind, the body will do activity, the mouth will speak, but the mind will think about Krishna. Mam Anusmaram. The word Anusmaran in this chapter, 8th chapter, the word Smaran or Anusmaran comes again and again. Smaran means to remember. Anusmaran means to remember as. Uh, Anu means to follow. That means to follow the teachings of the spiritual master. So, how to think as taught by the spiritual master. Mam Anusmaram Dosya. My Arpita Manobuddhir. We have to offer our mind and intelligence. Arpita. Mam Evasasi Samsaya. Without doubt, we'll come back to it. So this is very important. How do we remember Krishna? Abhyasa yoga yuktena chetasana gamina paramam purusham divyam yati pata anuchintayam. We should practice. Maybe initially we may be able to practice, think Krishna for 1 minute in 24 hours. Gradually 5 minutes chanting. Gradually 90 minutes chanting. Gradually 90 minutes chanting and 1 hour reading. Gradually 2 hours chanting, 1 hour reading, and 5 hour seva. So 8 hours of Krishna consciousness and 6 hours of sleeping. And gradually we increase our service, chanting, and reading, and make 24 hours remembering Krishna. The mind is like a dirty insect of in a dirty water. When we remove it, again it wants to go into the dirty water. But by practice, we can make the mind, we can train the mind not to go to the material realm. Abhyasa yoga yuktena, Abhyasa yoga yuktena, Chetasana anyagamina, Puramam purusham divyam yati Partha anuchintayan, anusmaran anuchintayan. Again, we should think about Krishna in as taught by the spiritual master. He who meditates me as the supreme personality of Godhead, his mind constantly engaged in remembering me, undeviated from the path. He, O Partha, is sure to reach me. So, in this way, a devotee practices remembering Krishna. How should one remember Krishna? So, one should remember Krishna. Kavin Puranam Anushashitaram Anuranyam Sam Anusmaridya Sarvasya Dataram Achintarupam Adhyatavarma Tamasa Parasta. One should meditate Krishna, the Supreme Person of Godhead, as one who knows everything. Yeah, Krishna knows everything in the past, in the present, and in the future. What we are doing, what we are thinking, and what we are speaking, Krishna knows what we did. So if somebody says he's God, then we should say, do you know everything? If he knows everything, fine. And if he doesn't know everything, then we should say no. So uh, in this way, we can we can uh, in this way in this way one should meditate Krishna, and he is the oldest. Even though Krishna is the oldest, he is still looking as the uh, Navyavanamcha is looking young. Nobody is older than Krishna. Krishna was first, and from Krishna comes uh, rest. Brahma, then from Lord Brahma comes four Kumars, Narada, etc., etc. But Krishna is the oldest. And one may think, oh, Krishna is knows everything, uh, fine, and is the oldest. Maybe he's knowing everything and is oldest. Sure, he must be weak. Nothing must be in control. Like old man cannot control anything. But Krishna can control everything. Not a single leaf of a tree, a leaf can move without his permission or a grain. If we are speaking, if we are hearing, if we are seeing, it is because Krishna has given the, Krishna has given the reason. And he is smaller than the smallest. He is within us as Paramatma in the atom, the God particle. The scientists are saying that is the smallest particle is called as the God particle. And smaller and the smaller, and maintainer of every living entity. Krishna may be the smallest, but still one may think he cannot maintain us, but he can maintain. He is a maintainer of everything. There is none. Uh, only Krishna can maintain us. From an ant to elephant, he's feeding everyone. And to see Krishna, we require spiritual eyes. Is beyond any material conception and is inconceivable with his material senses. He is a person. He is not an uh, light or a matter. He is very, very effulgent, like a sun, like thousands of suns. And the light coming from Krishna's body is going all over the creation, like bulb is in one corner of the room, but it illuminates the whole room. He is transcendental and is beyond material nature. So in this way, one should think about Krishna. प्रयाण काले मनसा चलेन भक्तयुक्त योग बलेन चैव भ्रुवो मध्ये परम प्रणाम अविश्वसंज्ञा सातां परम पुरुषं पाइति दिव्यम्. And at the time of the death, one should gradually think about Krishna's pastimes and the life here as it is leaving the body from bottom of from bring it to the stomach, from chest, from neck, bring it to the nose and between the eyebrows, and from there controlling thinking about Krishna, the devotee's life here leaves from the from the Brahmarandam, the small hole in the skull, and uh, we know the pastime of His Holiness Gaur Govind Swami Maharaj on 1996 February, Bhaktisiddhanta Sarve Thakur's appearance day. He was talking about Jagannath pastime, and as he was saying Jagannath pastime, he understood now his end is coming, and he said, "Say Jai Jagannath." And thinking about Jagannath, he just in the Vyasasana he finished his pastimes. Such is the uh, glorious departure of great devotees. Just by thinking about Krishna, always his life was successful. So similarly, devotees live, can also make their life successful. But here, what is being mentioned is mentioned about the uh, Ashtang Yogi. The Ashtang Yogi is bringing the life air between the eyebrows, and there should be some mantras to be spoken, and some practices to be done. So, Krishna says, yes, yad aksharam veda vido vadanti visanti यतयो वीतराग यदिच्छन्तो ब्रह्मचर्यं चरन्ति तत्ते पदं सङ्गृह्णीन प्रवेश्ये. In Vedas, it is said that one should utter the word Om for devotees like Prabhupada at the end of the time. They were uttering the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Devotees were chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, and uh, thus they make their their living perfect. And by practicing brahmacharya, they attain perfection and attain salvation. So in this way, Sarvadvarani Samyamya Manohirdi Nirutya Cha Murdani Adhyatmana Paramam Asti To Yoga Dharanam. The yogic situation is that thereby Prabhupada Vishnu Pitama, at the time of the death, they are hearing Krishna and they are seeing Krishna's photo, and uh, they are in Krishna, in touch with Krishna's devotees. In this way, they all the senses are Krishna conscious, and gradually the body senses close, and the life hair goes upper and upper. The eyes closes, the mouth closes, the nose closes, ear closes, and one leaves the body from a small hole in the top of the skull called Brahmarandan. and his life is successful. We can say Hare Krishna Mahamantra or Om. Om iti eka aksharam brahma vyaharan mam anusmaran ya prayati tyajateham sayati paramam gatim. After being situated in yoga practice, vibrating the sacred syllable Om or Hare Krishna Mahamantra, the supreme combination of letters Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. If one thinks of supreme personality of Godhead and cutes his body, he he certainly, um, he certainly reaches the supreme spiritual planet. So in this way, by remembering Krishna, we can make our life successful. And for a pure devotee, they are fully engaged in hearing and speaking and remembering the pastimes of the Lord, the wonderful form of the Lord, the names of the Lord, and the qualities of the Lord. And the devotee of the Lord, they are so much in love with Krishna that 24 hours, even while eating, even while sleeping, and while awake, definitely they remember Krishna. And by doing this, their life becomes successful. Ananyacheta satatam yomam smarati nityasa tasyaham sulabhapartha nityayukta sa yogina. For one who remembers me without deviation, I am easy to obtain, O son of Pritha, Partha, because of his constant engagement in devotional life. And easy to obtain because the devotee of the Lord, like Kunti Maharani, or like Dehuti Mata, Dhruv Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, they think about Krishna's wonderful pastimes. They Janma Karma Chamedikam. So it becomes very easy at the end of the time, at the time of death, instead of Yamutta, Krishna Dutas come, and when they come, they look so beautiful, and uh, they come with the spiritual uh, divine aeroplane, and the devotee just steps into that and makes his life successful. And once anybody attains the spiritual realm, Mamapetya Punarjanma Dukkalyamasasatam Naptavanti Mahatmanam Sansiddhim Paramam Gataha. After attaining me, the great soul, Mahatma, second time the word Mahatma comes in Bhagavad Gita. Huh? In the seventh chapter, it is mentioned how Mahatma takes birth. Here, it is mentioned how Mahatma leaves the body after attaining the great soul. He never returns to the material world. It is Dukkalayam. Alayam means abode. Dukkalayam, Dukkalayam, full of, like Himalayan. It is an abode of ice. And Granthalayam, it is abode of books. Bhojanalayam, it is a storehouse of food. So Dukkhalayam is storehouse of dukkha, misery. In this world, there is misery everywhere. And Ashwasatam, uh, eh, uh, yeah, there is misery. And for some time, we feel that the degree of misery is less. But again, the intensity of the misery increases. So, because they have attained the highest perfection, they will never ever come back to the material world. It is also said the spiritual world is so blissful and peaceful and simply wonderful that it is full of love and joy and simply full of affection and kindness and mercy that one will never ever think about material world. Thirdly, The material world is so painful that even by mistake, anybody who comes to spiritual world will not like to go to material world. It is something like this. Like in Hindi, we say, "Doodh ka jala chhas bhi funk funk pe peeta hai." Somebody who is drinking hot milk gets the lips and the tongue burned. And even when they have to drink buttermilk, they see, oh, it's a white liquid, and they they wait, and they blow air to cool it down because they don't want to have the bad experience again. So the spiritual experience in the spiritual world is so full of joy, love, affection that they don't want to never ever come to the material world. బ్రహ్మభువనాలుక పునరవతినో అర్జున మామపేత్యాతు కౌంతేయ పునర్జన్మ నా విద్యతే. The material world, right from Brahma's abode to the lower planet, that it's very painful. Anybody in this material world, if he from the highest material planet to the lowest, is full of misery, where repeated birth and death takes place. But between birth and death, it is not that everything is peaceful, blissful, and simply wonderful. Between birth and death, there is old age and disease. Nobody wants disease. Nobody wants death. Nobody wants, you know, old age. But it is forced upon us. Nobody wants problem, but it is forced upon. That is, in this place is called as all in. But by Krishna consciousness, we can overcome this. But one attains my abode, O son of Kunti, never takes birth again in this material world. This is for the devotee who transcends material world, but a non-devotee will not be able to transcend material world because he is not able to remember Krishna again and again, again and again, again and again. He takes birth. When the whole universe is annihilated and it goes to Mahavishnu's body, uh, uh, they get into they get a subtle body, uh, and again when the universe come to manifestation, they are born in a particular universe, in a particular planet, in a particular body, and again they go through the cycle of birth, death, old age. In previous chapter, the 12 hours of Brahma was mentioned. In this, the 100 years of Brahma is being mentioned. Sasvayugya paryantam aharyat brahmano vido ratrim yuga sasvantam te ahoratra vido jana. In this chapter, the 12 hours of Brahma is explained. By human calculation, the 12,000 ages taken together forms the duration of Brahma's one day, and such is Brahma's 12 hour of night. In one yuga, there is one Kali Yuga, one Dwapar Yuga, one Treta Yuga, and one Satyuga. Satyuga is the golden age, and the Treta Yuga is the silver age, and uh, the Dwapar Yuga is the bronze age, and the Kali Yuga is the iron age. The iron age is four uh, 4,32,000 years in calculation, and double of that is Dwapar, and triple of that is Treta, and four times that is Satyuga, the golden age. And that means the 12 hours of Brahma is 10 times the uh, 10 times the duration of Iron Age, that is 43 lakhs 20,000 number. And similarly, 43 lakh 20,000 is the duration of Brahma. And when Brahma goes to sleep, the water of annihilation comes till planet uh, heaven, and all the living entities have to uh, are put into uh, uh, are put into sleep. Avyakta vyakta sarva prabhavanti agame ratri agame pralayanti tatra eva yakta sanjnake. The beginning of Brahma's day, again, the living entity, after the 12 hours of night is over, they will get to the a particular planet in a particular body, and again, they are born, and this goes on and on. So, Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Maranam, Punarapi Janani Jatari Sayanam, Here Sansare, Bhavadostare, Kripaya Pahe, Pare Murare. So, a person, non-devotee dies and again gets another body and again dies and it's very painful. Bhuta Gramam Sa, but for a devotee, he goes to the spiritual world. Bhuta Grama Sa Evayam Bhutva Bhuta Pralayati Ratriyogame Avasapata Prabhavati Ahar Agami. Again and again, when Brahma's day arrives, all the living entities come into being, and with the arrival of Brahma's night, helplessly annihilated. परस्तस्मात् भावन्यो व्यक्तवित्त सनातना यथा सर्वेषु भूतेषु नास्यत्सु न विनश्यति. Yet there is another unmanifested nature, which is the spiritual world, which is eternal and transcendental, uh, um, and transcendental to the material world, which is manifested and unmanifested. It is the supreme. It is supreme and never annihilated. When when all in the world is annihilated, that part even remains. When the material world is annihilated, the spiritual world still remains. And there is so much of joy and peace that nobody can ever think about coming to the material world. अव्यक्तशर इति उक्तास् तम् आहुः परमं गतिं यं प्राप्य न निवर्तन्ते तद्धाम परमं मम. That which the Vedantis describe as unmanifested, unfallible, that which is known as the supreme destination, that place from which, having attained, one never returns, is the spiritual abode of the Lord. Avyakta, it is never unmanifested. Huh? Avyakta Akshara, hmm, Parastasmat Bhavani Bhakti Samadhi. The unmanifested, the infallible, supreme destination, that place from which attained one never returns. Parastasvattu bhavanya bhaktivikra sanatana. Purushah saha parapata bhaktya labhyatau ananyaya yashantastani bhutani ena sarvam idam tatam. The Supreme Personality of God, who is greater than all, is attained by only unalloyed devotion. Though he is present in his abode, is all pervading, and he is and everything is situated within him. So, as Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna in Goloka Vrindavan, uh, uh, he is present in his abode, playing flute and with his Gopa friendas, but he is all pervading as the Brahma Jyoti, and everything is situated in him, in his Virat body. So, in this way, this devotee of the Lord at that time of death goes back home, back to Godhead. But for a Jnani and a Karmi, they have to be careful at what time they leave the body, and and if the time is not proper, they have to again come back to this material world. यत्र काले यत्र काले तु अनावृतम् आवृतं चैव योगिना पर्यातयान्ति तं कालं वक्ष्यामि भरतऋषभ. O best of Bharatas, I shall now explain to you the different time at which passing from this world, the yogi does not have to come back. This is very interesting. Hmm. Uh, अग्निर्ज्योति आशुक्ल सन्मास उत्तरायणम तत्र पर्यत गच्छन्ति ब्रह्मा ब्रह्म विदो जना. Those who know the Supreme Brahma, attaining the Supreme by passing from the world during the influence of the fairy world in the light at auspicious moment of the day, during fortnight of waxing moon, or during the 6 months when the sun travels in the north. So, for a karmi and a tyagi, they have to be careful that they have to leave the body between January 14th and 15th of June. 15th of that is called Uttarayan. And that too, they should be careful. They should leave the body when the moon is in the increasing phase, from no moon to full moon. And that too, the one should leave the body from between sunrise and sunset. Then they will go to the supreme spiritual world. If the time is not proper, as it is mentioned now, धूमरात्रिस्तथा कृष्ण सन्माश दक्षिण यानम् तत्र चन्दां संज्योतिर् योगी प्राप्य निवर्तते. The mystic who causes this world during the smoke night, when the moon is when that is in between January, June 14 and January 15. And if he lives at that time, he will come back. And even in that time he has to leave the body when the if he leaves the body when the moon is decreasing from full moon to no moon. And that too, if he leaves the body from between sunset and sunrise, he has to come back. He will not get the spiritual abode, whereas he will go to the moon planet where he will stay in the moon planet in the material world and again take birth. So, in summary, the non-devotees, they will take birth again and again and again and again in the material world. The devotees will come back to Godhead after death. Non-devotees will take birth again and again. The karmi and the tyagi, if they leave the body in Uttarayan, when when the moon is increasing from no moon to full moon, and that too between sunrise and sunset, will go back to Godhead. Whereas if the karmi and tyagi leaves the body between June 14 and January 14, and um, between full moon and no moon, when the moon is decreasing, between sunset and sunrise, he will come. He will go to the moon planet again, take birth again and again. Sukla Krishna Gati hi ete Jagata Shashwate Mate Ekaya Yati Anavritam Anya Ya Vartate Punaha. According to the Vedic opinion, there are two ways of passing from this world. One is in light, that is January 14 to June 14, and one is in darkness, that is June 14 to January 14. And when one passes in light, he does not come, and one passes in darkness, he returns. But for a devotee of the Lord, he does not have to worry about uh, whether it's whether it is Uttarayan or Dakshinayan, whether it is uh, full moon to no moon or no moon to full moon, whether it is day or night. Anytime, any place, just by thinking about Krishna, his life is successful. Nete Srishti Partha Janan Yogi Muyate Kaschana तस्मात् सर्वेषु कालेषु योगयुक्ता भव अर्जुन. Although the devotees know the two paths, O Arjuna, they are not bewildered, disturbed. They are just simply blissfully thinking about Krishna, and they their life is successful. वेदेषु यज्ञेषु तपश्चैव दानेषु यत् पुण्यफलं प्रदिष्टं तत् तत् सर्वम् इदं विदित्वा योगी परं स्थानम् उपेते चादय. The person who accepts devotional service, actually, he has done he has studied all the Vedas. He has performed all the sacrifices. He has undergone all the austerities. He has been given charity, pursuing philosophical and fruitive activities, simply for uh, performing devotional service. He attains all these things. The benefit of reading Veda, the benefit of doing austerity, the benefit of doing sacrifice, donation, all this automatically comes if we are doing practicing Krishna consciousness. So Krishna consciousness is the best activity, and by doing that, our life is successful and our death is successful. What to speak of great devotees like Bhishma Pitama, Srila Prabhupada, even non-devotees, their lives, even devotees, the simple devotees, just by practicing Krishna consciousness, I have seen uh, Vijay Vishnu Prabhu, a devotee in our congregation. He was a simple devotee. After retiring, he was in the temple distributing prasadam and used to all the pilgrims or the visitors to the temple. And used to say, Annadan Mahadan, Prasad Lo, Prasad Lo. And one morning at around 10:30, but at this time, he was giving prasadam and he left the body. Another devotee was doing Sankirtan and while chanting Hare Krishna in the road, he just stopped saying anything and Hari Bol, and he was taken to the hospital. So in the assembly of the devotees in temple, he left the body. What to speak of the Prabhupada's Andolan organization is so spiritually potent that by paying just by serving one of our driver Tiwari is 6 feet tall, very fat. He's not a devotee. He had an habit of eating, chewing betel nut and betel leaf, and that's why sometimes he was thrown up from ISKCON Juhu, so he comes to Mira. But only one good thing about him was he never left the association of devotees. He should drive car, but only car for devotees. By doing that, at the end of his lifetime, he was in Juhu temple and he was paying obeisance at 12:30 and to Gognita, then Radha Rasbihari, then Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman, and he paid obeisance to Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman. The Rajbhog Aarti was going on, Kirtan was going on, and he left the body. And it was 1 o'clock. He was not getting up. People tried to wake him up, but he did not wake up. And they found that he now left the body. So see, driver serving devotees, Prabhupada's organization is so full of potent of spirituality. Just by paying obeisances, serving devotees, he has gone back to them. Srila Prabhupada said that, my dear devotees, just chant 16 rounds every day. Just chant 16 rounds every day and follow four regulator principle and do not leave ISKCON. If you do this much, at the end of the lifetime, uh, uh, from Vaikuntha, plane will come to take you to the spiritual world. And if they say that this devotee is not practiced uh, Krishna conscious completely and they don't come, then don't worry. Because of your sincerity, I will come from spiritual world and I take you from this material body in this material world to spiritual world. If the doors of Vaikuntha is closed, I will take you beyond Vaikuntha. The doors of Ayodhya is closed, I will take you beyond Ayodhya. If doors of Dwarka is closed, I will take you beyond Dwarika. If doors of Mathura is closed for you, I'll take you beyond Mathura. If doors of Golok Vrindavan is closed, I will take you beyond Golok Vrindavan. I will take you to the back door of Golok Vrindavan. If the black door of Golok Vrindavan is closed, don't worry. I thought there is a small door to the big door of Golok Vrindavan. From that, I will take you inside, and because Srimati Radharani has given a special key for that small door, I will open it and take you inside, and thus our life will be successful. For devotees, let us feel ourselves very fortunate that we are in ISKCON under Srila Prabhupada's shelter. So let us take this process seriously, chant 16 rounds, and read Prabhupada books, distribute Prabhupada books, be better devotees, and make others devotees. Please, Prabhupada, spiritual master, make our life successful. Hare Krishna. So, any questions? Otherwise, we'll stop the class here. So, thank you very much.